Today's not my best hair day, not my best makeup day. Not even my best cuticle days. Oh my god. You see these bags? Yeah. Can someone just stand behind me holding these like this? I've been seeing all the comments you guys are leaving saying that you want more Duende videos, so I'm here to give you what you need. Me and my mustache, we got you. Before I start this story, I just want to let you know that it is about a Duende, but more specifically those Duende figurines. Like, you can go to a store in Mexico and buy a Duende figurine, and basically each Duende does something different. You can get one for love, you can get one for money, like so on and so forth. This happened 2 years ago in Jilotepec, Mexico. This guy says that he would work construction, and since the place was far away from his home, a lot of the people would stay and sleep there, which is why his boss converted some of the offices into a place where they can sleep and added bunk beds in them. So basically there would always be 2 people to a room. So in one of the nights that he was gonna stay there was another guy who would be his roommate, and the guy brought the little troll with him. He brought up the Duende to the guy, and the guy was like, oh yeah, I have it because it always brings me good luck. It's my good luck charm. However, that wasn't the weird part. I mean, everybody's used to people having certain things for good luck. The weird part was when the guy tells him that he does talk to his Duende, and that sometimes the Duende comes to life at night to play. He mentions that he also noticed that the guy would always leave food out for the Duende at night. So there's one night where he says that he's sitting in the living room of that office, and his roommate comes and says, hey, come. I think he's playing in the room. So they both head toward the little room where the bunk beds are. He said that by the time they got to the room, that it was so dark that he automatically turned the lights on without even thinking. He mentions how there was nothing in the room. However, the Duende figurine was also not in the spot where it had been left at. They looked around the room trying to find the Duende. The Duende was literally leaning up against the wall right next to the guy from where he had switched the light on. He was standing on the floor, leaning on the wall next to him. The second he saw it, he just wanted to like kick that thing away from him, but something inside him told him not to do that. He said that he started to think that maybe his roommate had placed it there so that it could scare him or prank him, but he really didn't bring it up and didn't give it that much importance because he doesn't want his roommate to think, oh, I'm scared of it. It was more like, yeah, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. A little while later, they both decided to go to bed, and he mentions how he slept on the top bunk and that his roommate slept in the bottom bunk. He said that the night went normal, and he woke up when everybody else was waking up. He didn't need to go into work yet because all the other people went in before him, so he just laid in bed. He said that he was still laying in bed, and he was actually covered with the blanket from head to toe because he didn't want the sunlight coming in to wake him up when he could sleep in more. His roommate was one of the people who went to work in earlier than him, so he was alone in that office, in that room, and that was when he felt like somebody had smacked him really hard on the head. And he tried to surprise the person who had slapped him because they probably thought that he was asleep. So when he felt that slap, he immediately takes the blanket off and like tries to scare the person who hit him on purpose. He 1000% thought it was his roomie, but when he tried to scare the person who slapped him, there was nobody in the room. Even the door to that bedroom was locked, and when he turned his head to like look around, right next to him on the pillow was that little Duende figurine. He said that he grabbed it, threw it across the room, and left the bedroom. He said that he completely left the office and then came back, and when he did, that Duende was now just sitting at the top bunk on his bed. When he saw it, he's like, you know what, I'm not gonna give it attention, I'm not gonna be scared, whatever. He just grabbed it and put it in the bottom bunk so that his roommate can have it when he came back. He said that the nighttime came and he actually didn't go to bed at the same time that his roommate did. He stayed up a little later, and then he went to the room to try to get some sleep. This time he checked under his blanket, under the pillow, just to make sure that that figurine wasn't there, and there was nothing on his bed. So he decided to go ahead, lay down, and go to sleep, and like he says, he was the last person to go to bed. So again, he's in bed, he's trying to get comfy, and then he realizes that he feels something weird in his pillow. Without even thinking about it, he puts his hand into the pillow and he touches it, and he knows exactly what it is, and it was that freaking Duende figurine inside of his pillowcase. At this point, he was in shock because he had already looked through the pillow, looked through his blankets, he knew nothing was in there, so he couldn't find a logical explanation as to how this Duende could have been in the pillow when he was laying on it, like there was nothing in there minutes before. This time he grabs it and literally threw it at the roommate that was in the bottom bunk. He also mentions that this would be like one of the longest nights he had ever experienced, because when he threw that figurine, the roommate didn't wake up. At that point, he was trying to go to sleep and he just couldn't. And he says that he started to hear like a little voice coming from underneath him. He explained that he did mention this to his roommate, like everything that happened, finding the figurine and thinking that he had heard somebody talking. And he said that his roommate almost seemed like he wasn't giving it importance, like it wasn't a big deal to him. He went as far as to tell his roommate that he's gonna have to move rooms because he doesn't like this dynamic. He doesn't like him being messed with from the Duende. And his roommate says, if you go to another place, there's gonna be nobody to defend you over there. Why the fuck does that sound so threatening? He straight up tells him, just stay here, I'll defend you from him. I would quit on the spot. Yeah, because what? That was the last time he actually spent with that roommate, and obviously never wanted to be his roomie again. I don't know how I would handle if that were to happen to me, but the guy saying like, well, if you go somewhere else, I'm not gonna be able to defend you, so might as well stay here. Cause like, what do you mean you'll defend me? Why don't you stop it altogether? Why do I feel now that I'm threatened by two people, you and you're the one there? Anyway, what do you guys think?